Roku's aggressive advertising tests, and the implications of a cheaper Vision Pro. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by Insta360 and their new Insta360 X5 flagship camera. Visit store.insta360.com and use the promo code MacVoices to get a free invisible 114cm selfie stick worth $24.99 with a standard package purchase. Limit first 30 standard package purchases only. That's really interesting, Marty, because I've noticed that ChatGPT will ask me if I want it to take something farther, or if I want another iteration of it, or something, of that nature. But it doesn't feel intrusive. It feels like it gives me the information and then asks that. But if I found that Copilot or anything else was popping up in the middle of things and saying, hey, I could do this or I could do that, that's going to get annoying real quick. Sort of like the A lady. If I ask her what the weather is this morning, she'll tell me and then tell me that, oh, by the way, I can, wake you up with music, or I can set an alarm for tomorrow. It's like, no, leave me alone. I don't want that.
I'm not dating you.
Yeah. I usually growl at her when that happens. So.
I did a little more digging with this. There is a product which I was not aware of. I did ChatGPT search. It's called Microsoft PureView, PURVIEW. It's basically a comprehensive data governance, compliance, and risk management platform with the 365 ecosystem in Azure, and organizations said, and there's a whole long list of things of what it can do. So even with things like DLP, with data loss prevention, information protection, sensitivity labels, and you put that stuff on there, as well as e-discovery for litigation holds and things like that. So I wasn't even aware of this product. So there you go. Another place to find out more about this.
Yeah. Jeff, I'm not sure that I should allow you to say what you said in the chat room.
Well, okay, but you're letting me anyhow. So this is on you. Based on Marty's experience with Copilot, I think we should just go ahead and brand it as Clippy for a new generation.
That's good. Please don't talk about Clippy.
And if you don't know what Clippy is, folks,
be glad you don't.
Google it or ask ChatGPT. I would think that Microsoft might have a biased reaction to it. So the last thing I have for tonight, and we did get a little bit out of order here, but this is one of those that you just shake your head and say, really? That Roku has been testing ads to pop up while your TV is turning on and while your streaming stick is firing up, and in the middle of using your TV, they're going to insert their own ads. I saw this. Now, I do have a Roku-based TV, but I think it's probably too old for any of this to be in it. But if I go to buy a new TV, I guarantee you I'm going to look elsewhere, because the last thing I want to do is have to deal with ads every time I turn on the TV. It's bad enough what they're putting on the channels or on your streams, but every time you turn on the TV, I mean, do marketers have no restraint at all?
No, they don't, nor do they have morals. Chuck, Roku's not the first company to wade into this. There are TV makers that are doing this, at least on some level, or they're set up so they can do it. And so the whole idea that you turn on your TV and you see ads, and those ads are based on content you've previously watched, and then you pause what you're watching, and now you get an ad that pops up instead of a freeze frame of your show. This is why we can't have nice things.
I don't want to get too radical here, but I see these protests of social social issues and all. And I feel like I want to organize some protests against the advertisers who allow their ads to be put into situations like that, into things like that. That just seems like the worst kind of abuse, and I don't want to support it. And I don't know any other way to do it except to try to take money out of their pockets. But this just, I mean, where are you going to get ads next? I go to the gas pump to fill my car up, and I've got ads playing at me while I'm filling the car up.
Mm-hmm. When you're at the checkout lane at the grocery store, whether you're having someone check you out, you're in the self-service lane, there may very well be ads playing on the screen that you see.
Do you remember any of those ads?
No.
Then it doesn't.
No.
Then it's not working.
Do you remember any ad you see anywhere?
Sadly, there's a couple that I do remember, only because I've been watching a lot of TV with my parents, and they watch TV where it happens linearly, and you can't pause anything, and there's commercials, and it's this really creepy, weird thing, and I don't understand why people do it. But there's a couple ads that play all the time, and they're for drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff has got the Jardians tune right down right.
Don't even talk about that.
Or how about the Propecia ads? Oh my God. I don't even know what Propecia is for, but I'm pretty sure all of the side effects are worse than what it's trying to cure.
There is one set of ads that I'm not going to call the company, but let's just say that it's a company that uses an ostrich to advance its insurance
That's one of the
product.
other ads I've seen.
And those have to be
An
the
ostrich can't sell insurance.
Yeah.
You'll be back.
But you remembered it.
You remembered
Yeah.
it because they keep beating it into your
Only
head.
because Chuck just talked about it.
Oh, it is that those ads have to be the most annoying ads, and they run them perpetually. And I'm sorry, but I would not buy your product. Forget it. Just based on that.
But
Webb, you're
it
in-
must work. It must
There-
work.
But considering the volume of ads that I see in proportion to the TV shows that my parents are watching, it really makes me understand what commercial TV is. It's a platform where they periodically break up the commercial stream with a little bit of a superficial story, and then it's back to the commercials. But yes, they must be working because these companies are paying metric bucket loads of money to run their ads, in some cases multiple times during the same show. So it must be effective still.
I don't know. And Barry
And
just
When you're pumping
Barry-
gas, what else are you going to do? This is a
You're gonna
service.
text
They're
your
providing
friends.
something. Well, you can still do that.
Well, you shouldn't be using your phone next to a gas pump anyway. So
Well, how am I going to tell my friends that I need another
you're on
lighter?
fire.
Yeah, that I'm on fire.
and Barry just pointed out in the chat room that it's an emu, not an ostrich. Barry, go stand in the corner.
Oh, well, then in that case, yeah.
Oh, it's
I
that
declared the
bad.
commercial is completely ineffective because we had the the wrong large bird.
Barry
Just-
set us straight.
He did.
As if it makes a difference.
And after the show, Barry's going to go back to all the people on his marketing team and say, "You're fired, you're fired, you're fired." They said ostrich, not emu.
I just think they should sell a little stuffed emu with a little shirt and the.
Well, no.
How about
we're not
How about a real stuffed emu?
Oh, jeez.
That went dark fast.
Yeah. We just lost the PETA audience.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Eric,
Marty.
that was very good.
Yeah. Mm. God. This is another week that, I don't want to just throw articles in that are meaningless. We're running a little short because I guess everything is holding until WWDC.
Chuck, I just want to go back to the Roku advertising thing, 'cause it says it right here. This is going to be good advertising. All the advertising we employ is meant to be additive to the consumer experience. So hold yourself open to being additive to the consumer experience. Talk about market speak. Come on.
Wow.
You're going to love it because we told you, Will.
Yeah.
I've got some good friends that are in marketing, and they aren't obnoxious at all. I mean, they're normal people, and they recognize that there are limits. And then I have a few that I've run into that are obnoxious because they think that the world has to revolve around their design of things and their need to communicate their message. And they just cannot understand why somebody is just plain not interested in their message. Or, having it be the correct color or the correct font. And Jeff, I know I'm treading into your territory, but there are times that it just feels like it goes overboard and that there's too much emphasis on just feeding the information all the time.
Well, if they're not force feeding it to you all the time, how are you possibly going to get their message?
Yeah, but
I'm not trying to make a joke. I'm serious.
No,
If they're not
no.
force feeding it to you all the time, you won't hear the message.
That's a fair point, but why can't they understand the risk that we just talked about with the emu? That it might have a negative impact. It might push me away instead of attract me.
It might, but for each one of us who decides we're not going to buy insurance that's represented by a lizard or a large bird or whatever it is, how many other people out there, when it comes time to start doing insurance shopping, they remember enough of that on some level it drives them to at least look at the company? And I venture to say the answer is enough people.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe it's because I'm in the business and Dave's in the business and Webb's in the business. Webb, do you guys have a mascot or anything?
Yeah. Yep. Sure it is. There's one. Oh,
What is it? I'm
the
sorry.
eagle. It's a modernized eagle. The lioness is the Kansas City Life logo. So look up our building. There are two big, huge stone or granite lionesses out front, which, by the way, look exactly like the ones in front of the Columbus, Ohio Police Department. Their main headquarters too. But
Have you visited
the
the Columbus, Ohio Police Department?
both inside and out? Yes.
Ooh, tell us more now, Dan. Tell us more. I
Yeah.
want to know.
I have an office in Columbus. So
Today's MacVoices is supported by Insta360 and their new Insta360 X5 flagship camera. Visit store.insta360.com and use the promo code MacVoices to get a free invisible 114 centimeter selfie stick worth $24.99 with a standard package purchase. Limit first 30 standard package purchases only. The Insta360 X5 is the latest flagship 360-degree camera designed for creators who want stunning immersive footage without complexity. It shoots 8K 360-degree video, performs brilliantly in low light, and includes features like flow state stabilization, AI editing tools that can give you ready-to-share video almost instantly, and a massive 185-minute battery so you don't miss any of the action. That's a whole lot right there. But if you've ever seen those wild third-person shots where it looks like a drone is following the action, but there's no drone in sight, that's the invisible selfie stick at work. It disappears completely from the footage, giving you impossible cinematic angles without extra gear or guesswork. It's like having your own camera crew, just you don't have to feed them. So here's the deal. To grab a free 114 centimeter invisible selfie stick worth $24.99 with your Insta360 X5 standard package, head to store.insta360.com and use the promo code MacVoices. That offer is available for the first 30 purchases, so don't wait. Go create something awesome. Thanks to Insta360 for supporting MacVoices. Craig in the chat room has given us a topic. He wants to hear our thoughts on cheaper Vision Pro. Will it result in more sales and usage?
I'm on the fence.
Not right now. Maybe someday. Chuck, I'm assuming that this question has been brought up because of the reports that Apple is supposedly going to release a lower price Vision Pro soon, which you may or may not have discussed earlier on the show.
No, we have not, because we don't discuss rumors. But since Craig wants to know about it, yeah, I'm willing to kick it around.
Okay, Chuck, here's my hypothesis. Apple is going to follow the pattern that they have followed before, which is they saturate whatever their definition of saturate is. They saturate the portion of the market they're going for, which is the high end. Then they release a product that's at a lower price point, and they saturate the market to whatever their definition of that is. And then they release the lower price product from there. And so each time, yes, you are getting a wider range of users or a larger user base. But I think in this case, we're not at a point yet where Apple would want to release a Vision Pro Lite. I think they still see this as just this far over bleeding edge, and it's for a very specific demographic while they continue to develop what the product's going to be. And it'll be a while before we get to Vision Pro Lite, and we will have a much higher user base for whatever the current Vision Pro is, well before they get to the Lite model, if you will. So sure, it'll help, but it's not going to be the savior product that people think Apple needs to release so that they can keep the Vision Pro product line from dying. Apple's doing a long tail game here.
Any other thoughts?
The rumors are always it's going to come out sometime later this year or next year. We don't know, later this year or next year. Well, that's kind of hedging your bets. If it comes out later next year, you're still, you predicted it, you got it right. I think most of the excitement around these kind of rumors are from folks who want a cheaper model of a Vision Pro. And I guarantee that if Apple puts one out this year, later this year, or later next year, it's not going to be cheap enough for them.
No, it won't be. You're right.
Well, it's never cheap enough. I guess, Craig, my take is that I need to see what it can do. If they make it cheaper, if they make, what'd you say, Jeff, Vision Pro Lite, they're going to have to compromise on something and let me know what it is first. What are my compromises? And then I'll decide whether it will tempt me sufficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the one we have is very tempting, at least for me. It hasn't succeeded yet, but I've almost been there a couple times, and so
I'll start sending you emails to remind you.
Thank you. As a
Chuck,
marketer,
you need to get a button that people can push for a quarter.
Jeff wasn't here for that part.
No, but
Marty, can I use Apple Pay on that?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you can take your phone and just put it right up to my button.
I'll just smack it. I do have a serious Apple Vision question, and to you, Marty, and Eric, and David, and it falls into the context of a lower priced Apple Vision. the outward facing display, the one that shows your eyes, does that bring value to the audience? If you had to
Yeah.
cut something, would that be one that would that be a feature you would eliminate? Because I think it's very, very expensive and has very little value add. And it's easy for me to say that. I don't own one, and it's easy for me to be critical. And maybe there's another value to it that I'm just not seeing. But I'd really like to hear what you guys think, or I'll listen to your show and we can talk about it there.
I think that you need to have some way to indicate that you aren't fully immersed, ignoring everybody around you, and that you are, in fact, looking out at the real world and paying attention. Because otherwise, all you're doing is wearing a headset full of intrusive cameras.
And I have an opposite opinion because I'm not using it surrounded by a bunch of people. Now, if they could do that thing like the giant robot in The Day the Earth Stood Still, where the beam goes back and forth across it, I would be okay with that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm in.
But and there's been mixed articles on how much removing that would really save in terms of the product. And a lot of people think, oh, just get rid of that. You can drop off $1,000. Not the case.
Yeah, I agree that pricing like that, unit pricing like that, is very difficult to get to think you eliminate that feature, then you're going to be able to save big bucks. That's not the way it works. I think we all understand that. That's why they have actuaries, and they're not just for insurance people. They're actuaries at Apple that help establish their own pricing. So it's a very complicated thing. I just don't know if it's a value added feature.
I think it could be done a different way for less.
Yeah, you just put a sticker on the front.
Googly eyes.
Nice, right.
Web, I think that is actually part of Apple's long tail. Yeah, see, totally works. But no, I think this is part of Apple's long-term play for Vision Pro, because they've already made it clear this is a new computing platform. And I believe where they want this to go for end users is a place where you're ready to buy a new computer. It's time to replace your MacBook Pro or whatever computer you're using. You replace it with a Vision Pro, and it becomes the primary computing device, like your laptop or your Mac Mini or whatever it is now. And then it becomes something that we have to look at as a heavily used wearable device, like an Apple Watch. So they're creating that artificial invisible wall so that when you're interacting with other people, you're not tempted to take the Vision Pro off, and they can interact with you. And so I don't think that screen's going away. And it's not going to save much money anyhow.
The typo of the night has to be when you were talking about The Day the Earth Stood Still. Cletus said he thought that was a privacy thing, but he said or a colon, and then realized that he meant Cylon. So thank you, Cletus.
I'm autocorrect.
Good job.
Yeah,
good job.
It's you have no idea how difficult it is to not. I'll stop right now.
Thank you. We know how much restraint that took. Thank you.
Yeah, of all people, Chuck,
Yeah, I do.
So I will say, every time there's one of these rumors that people who have Apple Visions and aren't heavily using them say, oh, I'm going to get rid of mine quick while I still can, and it has value. I'll sell it, and then I'll get ready for the new one. And then there is an opportunity for all the people who said if it was only $2,500, I would get it. to then purchase one for $2,500, $2,700, and go to a marketplace you trust. And for some people, that is a reasonable way to dip your toes into the Apple Vision Pro world.
Eric, I got to ask then, what are marketplace you would trust?
I don't know. I just bought one on eBay. It had a return policy if it didn't work. I did set it up, make sure that I could use it right away as soon as I got it. Checked it for dings, checked it for cracks, that sort of thing. They had pretty decent pictures. It still had Apple Care for a month after I got it, so that I could take it in if I needed to. So that worked.
Individual.
And now I don't have to share.
Yeah. All right. We didn't know you're now the sole owner.
Yeah.
Good job. Company, like a refurb company or an individual?
This was somebody who had mostly positive reviews and seemed like they had sold stuff regularly. I wasn't sure if they were tied to somebody that had, was always reselling them. I try to avoid like pawn shops that are from outside of the country, because sometimes they're, because like there was one where it's a really good price, but they were selling it and it was it based in another country, so you couldn't use the US Apple Store with the device. You'd have to get a new account with a different store. I didn't want to have to deal with that.
Good advice. Good advice. Gentlemen, we are at time, so I think we'll go around the room, let folks know where they can find you, and we'll get out of here. I'm going to just keep the order tonight, which makes Dave Ginsburg the first out. Dave, thanks so much for being here, you and your red shirt.
Yeah.
I like it. No Easter egg. I'm not sure.
Nope.
I don't know who maybe firefighter. I don't know. Where can folks find you?
Well, thanks for having me. As always, Chuck, you can find me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. YouTube channel is youtube.com/intouchwithios. I'm here on Tuesday nights, and I'm also on the Mac Show most times on the British Tech Network on Fridays, and I'm on social media, Blue Sky, Mastodon. It's at DaveG65. Thanks.
Thank you, Dave. Marty Jencius, we're really, really glad that you are okay, and we want you to stay that way. So just keep pushing the button. Where can folks find you?
You can find me at Jencius, Jencius, at Blue Sky, also at mastodon.social. And if you want to find out what kinds of work I'm doing and where I'm at, I'm definitely with Eric on Monday night with Vision Profiles, and we have a great time. We had Dave there last time, and Daniel sometimes joins us, and it's a great discussion of the weekly stories around Apple Vision Pro. And then my other stuff you can find at thepodtalk.net on that website. Tuesday nights, I am here with Chuck, and I love this group and this gang. And then Thursdays, you will find me with Dave at In Touch with iOS. And if you stop putting those things up, I won't be distracted. It's like a bull in a china shop when you put up the promo. And yes, I did start Tech Savvy Professor again. So that cloth that has all the different podcasts that I do is now relevant once again, since I've got them going. So thanks. And please stop doing that.
Let's do all at once. There you go. Let's do it.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I got it.
You guys keep that up, and I'll show my button.
Okay, now it's a party.
Yeah, it is a party.
Well, Bixby, great to have you as always. I'm glad you're back. Where can folks find you?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Blue Sky. I just like the name. So Web Bixby at Blue Sky. WEBBIXBY.
Thank you, Webb. Eric Bolden, you and your Magnolia. Yeah, what can I say? I feel like there's a Rhett Butler joke in there somewhere, but I'm not sure where. Where can folks find you?
I feel underdressed somehow. I should. I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at techhub.social. And then Mondays with Vision Profiles and Marty, and here Tuesdays, and every once in a while with Dave on In Touch with iOS, because I want to touch all of the different OSs.
Always welcome.
That kind of statement can get you arrested.
Again.
As long as there's consent, it's not a problem.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
No, never mind.
Yeah.
Jim Ray, I'm glad you're back off the road. Hopefully you can bring some sanity back to the show. In the meantime, where can folks find you?
I am on Mastodon at ProViewJim at techhub.social, PROVUEJIM.
Excellent. Thanks for being here. Last but absolutely not least, Jeff Gamet. Jeff, thanks so much for making it. I know you were a little late, but we absolutely appreciate the extra effort to get here at all. Where can folks find you?
Well, first, thank you for letting me join in, and then thank you for being so amazingly tolerant of me. So let's see. When I'm not living vicariously through Jim, you can find me on social medias as J Gamet, and I'm posting stuff right now on Mastodon and Instagram, and no, not Instagram. What's the other one? PixelFed. PixelFed and Blue Sky. And then for shows, well, when my schedule settles down enough that I can actually show up here on Tuesdays for MacVoices Live, thank you for letting me be here. Thursdays on Dave's In Touch with iOS. Then on the British Tech Network, the Big Show and the Mac Show. And Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Excellent. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. I want to especially thank the chat room tonight. They were contributing, asking questions, having conversations of their own. It was really, really good chat room tonight. So thank you, guys. Appreciate it. This is MacVoices Live. We do this Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. If you're seeing it in the feeds, join us on Tuesday nights because we have an awful lot of fun, as you can tell. Until next time, I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.